Hello, I am back. Part three of the social concern series, or video series, three-part video series. This next part is going to be about a sort of, I guess you can call it social. I don't know what to call it, but I'm going to call it social vampirism, or like a parasitic behavior that goes on socially in black communities. I'll be burping this. I was snacking. You know, I told you about those snacks. See, I ate the snacks. They gone. So, and I drank this water. So I was burping. But anyway, uh, yeah, parasitic slash vampiric behavior that goes on in social spaces for black people. One of them is like also the silent. Besides the parasitic behavior, there's like the silent. What do you want to call it? Like bully. I'm gonna call it bullying. It's like a bullying type of thing that goes on. This has to be addressed. It's not healthy for our communities for various reasons. I'm gonna touch on the bullying one first. The bully, the bully behavior that you can easily experience and that we typically see in black communities, especially in like smaller areas or like more condensed areas of black communities, usually where there's gang presence, like maybe a Crip neighborhood or Blood neighborhood or any gang neighborhoods really, where there's a condensed body of black people in that area. There is this type of like bully energy that goes on to where if you don't basically if you don't exercise a certain degree of conformity with what's going on in the area, even if it's unhealthy or it's not right, you are bullied and you are attacked or attacked and made into some kind of problem for everybody. Everyone would quickly band together to be against you if you decided not to be conforming to the stuff, whatever it is, specific social standards, the gang stuff, unwritten rules about the area or some shit you probably didn't even know about. You know, just stuff that goes on. These are things that happen that have happened and I've seen happen in areas like this. Uh, and typically, and also on the smaller side, on the other side, of the more personal side of the scale, there's a type of bullying that takes place that I've touched on in previous videos that stops black people from being authentic. Yeah. So if you're born into a certain family or a community and a family that doesn't know how to have healthy social circles and healthy social spaces, and they're all kind of stuck in the conformity thing, and you start expressing that you want to be different or that you, in some way, that you genuinely just automatically gravitate towards different paths, different thought processes. You're just a different kind of person, and you're not really automatically meshing with the conformity stuff and the other stuff that everyone and the specific behaviors that everyone's conforming to around here. You're not really meshing with those. You kind of want to do this other thing. They will bully you, pick on you, isolate you, clown you, various things to make you feel bad for not joining in on the stuff that everyone else is doing. To some degree, this is fine. It's fine if it's mediated and it's for healthy things. For example, if you were in a healthy community of people and everyone here practiced a specific hygiene ritual that was very efficient, that everybody did in every household, even though we couldn't see into each other's houses, we all knew that we was all doing it because that's the thing that's common here. And you talking about you don't want to do that specific hygiene ritual because you don't like being clean or some weird shit like that. Yes, then the community should be like, no, that's weird. Why do you want to be dirty? Please participate and do something of the like of this ritual so you can have your hygienics in order. Right? Cool. But it's typically not nothing so altruistic or wholesome or constructive as that. It's typically something bad. It's a bad behavior. They want you to not snitch, for example. That's a big one. That's a big one in black communities, right? Because the system is against us. The powers that be are against us. The laws are against us. The policemen are against us. Thing, I'm aware of all that. Okay, that's no excuse. First of all, to be evil. It's no excuse. What is the saying? It comes from a king's from a video game, but it's a really good saying. And the saying goes that an eye for an eye, and the world goes blind. So now we all fucked up. You can't do that. It's not gonna work. You're not gonna make a hotter flame than the other guy over there, and he's using fire to attack you. Y'all just gonna make one big ass flame, and it's gonna consume everything, and we all fucked up now. So just reinforcing bad behaviors in communities and bullying other people into participating in them is a very bad thing for our social communities, for the social aspect of our communities. Um, Besides the fact that it stops growth, it stops black people from enjoying certain things or exploring genuine parts of themselves or growing and maturing in ways that feel more organic to them so that they can become something that they're comfortable with, that they chose. Besides that, there's also the practice, like I said, for the snitching thing. If you see somebody doing some shit that's crazy, like stabbing a motherfucker up in the alleyway next to your house, and you know both of those people or you know one of those people, the first thought is, why is he stabbing that nigga? That's gonna be your first thought, because you're gonna hear it. You're gonna start looking. It's right next to the window, right? So you look outside in the alleyway, you see what's going on. Bro's getting stabbed. What the fuck, right? That's what you're gonna be thinking. Is that Jadis? That's Jadis right there. Why he getting stabbed? Jadis is getting stabbed. Oh my god! Now you got to fight with the social programming. You could watch Jadis get stabbed. You know who Jadis is. He getting stabbed up right now, and you see that dude right there stabbing him. You know him too. He been around, but you don't know him personally. You know Jadis. You can't snitch though. You friends with Jadis. Jadis has been inside of your house. Right? You watching him basically die right now because of that other guy. There's a decision to make here. Do the morally right thing, and also personally aligned thing, which is to try and save Jadis in some way, or at least call the police or somebody who can come and save Jadis, or obey the unhealthy rule that has been given in our communities, since people want to participate in evil shit in our communities and not say nothing and let Jadis get stabbed to death behind your house in alley. This is not a good thing. This is stuff that has happened to many people. Shit like this. And our communities can never heal from stuff like this. And they can never completely remove people who would make us be put into these type of situations because we enable them. Anybody seen the movie Wired? I mean the series Wired? That's a great series. That's a good example. There's a lot of very intelligent criminal behavior and activities that go on in our communities. And if everybody is in cahoots about the criminal activities, if you watch the series, all that really does is it makes that shit escalate. It just gets worse. And now it starts implicating and involving other people who probably before wasn't even involved. Now we got this whole big ass issue and everybody dying. Everybody mama getting shot. All of Jadis, everybody who's like Jadis in my analogy getting killed. Motherfuckers getting killed on accident. Motherfuckers getting hit by ricochet bullets. Motherfuckers getting confused for other people. Motherfuckers getting used as sacrifices essentially so that something else can happen. Like the situation and the evil, it just feeds on your enabling, and then it becomes a bigger problem and it grows into this monster that is fucking with like, it just makes the whole space dangerous. Now you can't even, it's no way you can feel completely safe in these places. You might become desensitized to the violence and used to it, but you're not safe. You don't feel safe. Why don't you feel safe in a community surrounded by people that look like you? Because there are people in here who are practicing crime, and they're and not just crime specifically, but evil shit. Like, I understand some hustles, legal hustles. I understand, like little weed or some shit. I understand that too, even though that's probably illegal still in some places. That's not really harmful as much as doing straight up evil shit, because first of all, you getting consent from other people. So even though it might feel a little morally weird to be, or morally wrong to be the source of somebody's addiction, and that addiction is fucking up their life if they have an addiction to it, it's still ultimately their decision, and they chose to come and get some of that. If they didn't come get it from you, they get it from somebody else, right? That's a whole nother discussion, and it's a morally gray area. But that's a whole different case. That's a whole different can of worms than niggas getting stabbed and shot, and some people even participating in like demonology and gangster stuff that goes on in the there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the gangster world that's not cool, bro. The deeper you get in and the more you know, it's like, bro, why is this here? Like, can we not do this? You know, it's just like I want to see I want to see a community of people that look like me who are all happy to see each other. Like, is that too much to ask? Like, you go outside, you see another black person, and you genuinely, what's up, bro? Like, you know, where is that at, bro? I don't see that. And it's because of things like this. It's because of not only the evil, but other people who enable it and allow it to metastasize into these fucking super cancers, and now everyone's in trouble. So, you know, just that's the first part, which is like, basically what I'm saying is, you know, to put it in a simple, like, one sentence term or one sentence explanation, bullying in like bullying conformity in an unhealthy way into social environments, or into our social interactions in black communities, and also the social environment. I said that earlier, but anyway, social environment, social interactions, being forced into these little boxes of conformity by bullies and by bad influences. That's not good. We need to remedy that stuff. Uh, that's the first part. The second part I wanted to touch on is kind of connected to the previous one. It's the proclivity towards doing bad stuff. Like I said earlier, I'm fully aware, and let me tell you how much I'm aware. Fully aware. Fully aware of how fucked the system is, and how it is laser focused with tunnel vision and blinders on black people, and fucking them up, and stalling their progress, or taking shit from them, or canceling them, or making sure they can't even get to certain levels. I'm aware of all of that, bro. But all of those things are put onto us because they want us to react in a way that would give credence to how they treat us. Right? So, for example, they treating you like shit, they doing stuff to you, make you mad. You can't get a job, you can't do this stuff. They want your ass to start stealing shit. That's what they want you to do. Everybody knows this. Like, most people know this, right? At this point, that's why when they about to do some crime, they be sounding like they kind of convincing themselves to do it. You know, I'm finna start stealing at this point because I don't even. Yeah, because you know that's what they want you to do. And if it's not no other options, you need to make some options. How we do that? We have to fix some of the other issues I touched on earlier. We're not going to be fixing these things at large anytime soon. So it's better to try and focus on them small communities, or do it like one person at a time, basically. If everybody does it one person at a time, it will spread and it will be cool eventually. And when, you know, ugly duckling sprouts up, it's not gonna feel so confident doing the stuff that it used to do because all these different groups of people who are now making a larger mass of people, we're not on that shit. We're not supporting that shit. So they're gonna be like, and they might just stop doing that, or fall in line, or go somewhere else. I don't know. But one of the things what we need to do is we need to start farming our own loops in our own communities, our own like little loops of revenue. Revenue needs to go in, flow into our fucking our economies, basically like our economies in our communities. Smaller communities still have their own economy to a degree, especially places with names or that identify with specific names like the ghetto. That's a name that fits, or the jungles. That's a name that fits a specific small or like identifiable separate area that kind of has its own economy. It has its own characteristics that other people can identify about it as a separate thing from all the other space around it. So it has its own economy. It can't have. It also has its own economy, its own people, its own majority demographic, its own characteristics, all that, right? So in these spaces, we need to start finding ways to circulate money. We may not be able to do it in the conventional ways. Using liquor stores and like trying to just buy stuff and keep stuff flowing in that way is probably not gonna work because there's still plenty of bad eggs running around who just rob a liquor store and fuck up the whole cycle. So we can't do that. What is better to do is to find something that we can branch out and that we can control more. Let me say like more directly, and it has like it's harder for it to be ruined by outside influences. For example, you in the black community, you have an idea, you want to start circulating some money in your black community. You don't like soap that's available in the store. Right? Most of the soap that's in the store is not good for black skin. No. So, that's why if we can't afford it, we'll go get some natural soap or whatever. So you start making some soap. You get the monies together eventually to start up. You make your first large batch of soap bars. You do the math on it so you can get a return on your investment. You make them cost this amount, so when you sell it, you get a return, and then you could keep the system going. But it's coming out of your house, or your truck, or your stand outside with the little tent, or whatever the fuck, whatever you want to do. That's yours. And if you stay selling it like out of your house, it's much harder unless you're targeted, and that's a whole different situation. But it's much harder for just the negative aspects and the negative people in the community to come and fuck up that business that you have there. It's harder for them to do that. And while that's going on, if all these things are kind of happening at the same time, they will fix themselves and they will help each other be fixed. So what I was touching on earlier about stopping the bullying and stuff and stopping the gang violence and stopping that type of stuff, if we stop those kind of behaviors, or there are people outside working on remedying and stopping those behaviors while you're in the house selling your soap bars, not only is there the chance and the percentage of people stealing the money from the economy going down, it's also a chance and the percentage of your business attracting customers is going up. And if the money still somehow, it will not somehow, when it starts to circulate a little farther out of your reach and it does starts hitting the liquor stores and stuff, it's less likely that it will be stolen from there, because we've already been working on fixing the behaviors of the people who would go and do some shit like that. If you don't have the innovation or the creativity to come up with a business, therein lies another thing I touched on earlier. Still part of the same thing I said earlier, the bully thing. So what you need to do is and some of this stuff will take sacrifice. Okay, a lot of things going on here will take sacrifice and a certain level of self-love, self-respect, determination, and strength from within you, because don't nobody like breaking away from tradition. Well, most people don't, and most people don't like when other people are trying to break away from tradition, especially in black communities. Like I said about the bully stuff, we already know. So if they see you trying to be weird, they're gonna start treating you weird, and now you got to go through that. So it's gonna require strength. This is a group effort, right? There's no Superman. There's no Superman. It's not gonna be some one size fits all solution that's gonna come and heal all the problems that exist in black communities. That's not gonna happen because there's too many now, and a lot of them are very specific or more personalized or require a certain delicate attention that a bigger solution could not reach. It could not penetrate. It's like washing I don't know, washing a driveway with like a water hose or something. You get all the dirt off. You can see the dirt waves as you wash it, but you know in them little cracks, it's still some dirt in there, and it's probably it's gonna give rise to more wheat, more roots and shit like that. You got to get in. You got to do more. You can't just wash it away with a hose. It can't just look good with the hose and then your job is not finished. You got to pick at all those little weeds that's growing between the cracks. You got to get all up in there if you really want the job done 100%. That's the situation with the black community. We have at large many problems. They cannot all just be hosed away. There's no hose. And even if there was, no, that's not a solution. You got to get down on your hands and your knees, and you got to pick at the roots of these problems and the weeds, and you got to strip them out, and then you got to lay down some weed killer in that crack so that shit don't come back. You know what I'm saying? You got to do stuff like this. So a lot of the stuff I'm talking about, it goes hand in hand. It all kind of exists in its own little healing ecosystem. Once one thing starts, it'll be hard to maintain if another thing doesn't start, or one thing can't start if this other thing doesn't already exist. The order has to be found by us. The work has to also begin by us. No one can save us. And no one's going to save us because people don't like black people. Okay, so most people are racist in the world, in this country, in America, quietly racist, or some of them don't even know they're racist. But then also outside of this country, don't nobody give a fuck about us, for real, like nobody. So it's not like we gonna have some kind of, like I said, Superman. Somebody's not gonna come and save us. We all gotta start becoming our own Superman, our own Superwoman, or whoever the fuck you want to use. Black Panther, it doesn't matter. We Storm or Miss Aurora, cool, fine, yes, but we must get in, and we must use our own powers to save ourselves, because that's the only way. So the bullying thing and circulating money in our own communities, these are like social, even though money's kind of economical too, but I'm speaking more on the ability to do it. And there's no ability to do it. There's no ability in in our case to interact healthily with our economy because our social area is so fucked up. The social dynamics are so fucked up that it's kind of hard to get into the economical stuff because socially the social area prevents it. It's like I said, it's layers, right? So we can't get into putting money in our communities because it's motherfuckers in the community that's gonna go rob the store. So we can't just, oh, let me just support black business and buy from him and buy from her, and then they get fucking robbed. Now what? I mean, how much money do you have? You can't just, that's like throwing money into a hole. You can't do that. But the only reason that that's a problem is because the social shit is fucked up. So you gotta do the social aspects gotta be solved also, and then economic stuff can come into play. But a way to kind of get around it or circumvent some of the social problems for now, anyway, is for people on an individual level who want to do that, who want to help their communities build community or give money, circulate money in the economy, and things like this. Reach into yourself. The solution is within. Everything you need is within. It's in there. It's in there somewhere. Dig up in there and find what you can contribute. It doesn't necessarily have to be a product. You don't have to sell something. You don't have to become a merchant or a salesman to give back to the community. There's a lot of things you can do, whatever it is. And you can do it your own way. You can make your own way of doing it. It doesn't need super fancy materials either. Not saying you should do this specifically, but in other countries, when people want to fill a niche or fill a need of their community, they find whatever ways they can to do it. Like in certain parts of Africa, there are people who wanted to experience shoes because the dirt and the shit that's in the dirt, scorpions and shit could bite the feet. They could step on some shit, whatever. In the sand, in the deserts, in the different areas where they go, thorns and all that shit, right? But they don't have no big shoe manufacturers out there. So what did they do? They started getting tires from yards or places where, cars were abandoned, and they cut the tires up, and then they put strings and shit in them, and they form them into like a shoe, like a flip flop. So now what they wear is like a section of a little cutout of tire, kind of folded, maybe not so folded, whatever, however they want to do the style, with some strings in it that go around the feet, or some kind of foot harness is built into the piece of tire, and now it's a sandal. And now that's a need that's been filled in the community, and that was somebody's creativity. Somebody was just like, my community would benefit from this. Or, sometimes I'm outside and I'm tired of stepping on fucking thorns. How can I do that? I can't afford no shoes. There's not no shoe manufacturers around here. And they went within, and oh snap, tires. Yeah, people be driving through the desert all the time. If I could somehow put the tires, the stuff that's on the truck, on my feet, I should get the same level of protection, no? Yeah. And bam, now tire sandals is a common thing going on in places like that where people live, in sandy areas where they can step on shit like that and they still kind of live tribally. Plenty of people, even though their lives is very tribal and they still hunt goats and do all that shit and have spears and shit, you can see on their feet some tire sandals because somebody in the community decided to do that. We need to start doing that. If we start coming at our community problems from this healthy problem solving way, basically derived from love, right? So love is the main goal. Even if you don't want to use that word, it's love, because you're looking at a situation that's not only affecting you, but by the metric of it afflicting you, and you fit into many general statistics and general bodies, you can be identified within those. This is a problem that's affecting many people, and you take it upon yourself to provide a solution. That's love. That's love. You thinking about your fellow man. You thinking about other people, even though from yourself, thinking about other people. It's like a loop. That's still the way to do it. That's the only way to do it. You can't think of a problem from someone else. You're not them. But if you do it from a place of love from within you, you would automatically recognize that this is a situation that affects other people. How can I fix coming from a place of love like that? We need to start doing that. Those are my three main topics for the end of this 3-part series of the social issues. I kind of feel like this could stretch on into more videos, but this one's already pretty long, and I want to see if people want to see more of this. If they comment or like this video enough, or these videos, then I'll stretch them on, and I'll start another series of social concern videos. But these three this is the conclusion of the 3 that I've done today. Thank you all for listening, and have a good day. Much love.